Alright, welcome back, people! How have you been? Happy Wednesday, everyone! Yes, this time, right on time, at the correct time, to begin with day number 5 of leisure gameplay that I would normally do on my own offline of TitanQuest. Indeed, TitanQuest Anniversary Edition. And last time we made our way through the depths of Hades until the Stygian Sea and the Charon and everything. Let me see, everything is working correctly, perfectly. There we go. Amazing. Good. Good. There we go. Magnificent, people. Magnificent. So, last time we finished the main expansion of the game and we continue with this. Before I proceed, I wanted to deeply thank Crowbar, an old classic uh, follower of the channel, for being the second subscription ever of the channel by subscribing also 6 months in advance. For some godforsaken reason, I could see the alert yesterday, but now it seems to have disappeared from my feed, so I will activate it once I log out and log in back, because yesterday I could see it, now I cannot see it. Maybe it has to do with the fact that I had to update the program and they fuck up things as they get updated always, all the time. So basically, people, but if you're watching Crowbar, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really, words cannot express you my thanks, as well as Axis Noma yesterday for subscribing to the channel, for being the founder subscriber, and to you for being, in that sense, a second subscriber, but you subscribed for 6 months in advance. So, really, as far as I can tell, that's unheard of a channel that hit affiliate in 1 week, that right at the next, his community, because Crowbar followed me back when I was playing Sacred 2, another game from last year. It's unheard of that people remember me and come back to check out the stream. So you warm my heart, and it's an honor that anyone even watches me for a second. In that sense, regarding all of that, it's an absolute honor that I have to thank life for it, without a doubt. Okay, people. Then I will display the alert and I will add a list, because I see that this sheet sometimes fails when it updates. Okay, so I will add a list down here with the subscribers directly, and call it a day. In that sense, that'll be much better, and then I will display the alerts. The badges, I already have the subscriber badges and everything. Please have a bit of patience with me. By next week, I will have everything set up. Everything set up. I clearly wasn't ready for it. I have my own things to do in real life. That's the thing. I have my own duties to do in real life, but it's not an excuse, as I said over at Discord, and without a doubt, I'll have everything fixed. Because I had a problem with the resolution of the badges, but because it's way too restrictive. But don't worry, because okay, don't worry, because I'll have it fixed. I'll have everything fixed. But well, thanks from the bottom of my heart to Axis Nova and to Crowbar, and also thanks from the bottom of my heart to the 85th YouTube subscriber. As I said, I will eventually display everything. I'll display all of the alerts once I log out and log in back with this sheet of Streamlabs. I'll have everything displayed. Don't worry, people. And I'll also have a list down here exclusively for the subscribers, just as I have one for the first followers. In that sense, for the first followers of the channel. In that sense, I'll have another one for the subscribers, and I will have also the alerts displayed and the badges and the exclusive subscriber emails and everything. I'll have everything done. No worries. As soon as don't worry, I catch up faster than you might think. Once I figured out, took me a while, but I already figured out how to design the icons. But consider that I need to design 6 of them myself, with the theme of the channel and everything, with the correct resolution. And I had problems kind of like scaling them to the correct resolutions. But don't worry, because I have tools to do so. I've already found the tools. I've been looking for the tools to do so, and now that I've found them, now that I have the tools, I will simply pick the images and slowly do them. By the end of this week, you will have everything set up. I don't like being unprepared for all of you. I don't like being unprepared. Oh, those crabs are dealing poison damage. Okay, going back to TitanQuest. As you could tell, people, as you can read from the title description, the idea is that, oh, a hero monster. Let's see what I can do against it. Look at my single attack build. Is that fire damage? My single attack build channels everything through the basic attack, as you can see. It channels everything through the basic attack, as you can see. I don't use any abilities at all.
Your inventory is full.
Wait, what? The curse of Drakensang follows me here as well. Your inventory is full. Yeah, well, no, here is because I looted a lot of shit and I didn't care about solving that. Well, see here. This is what I've been mentioning when playing Drakensang Online. How an intrinsic stat system works, and by that I mean a stat system in an isometric action RPG in which you increase your base attack damage not through the loot, which would be an external factor to the stat system, but through an inherent, intrinsic, internal part of a stat system, the attribute points, namely. Here you can see I leveled up yesterday. We're about to level up again. So we'll wait for that, and I'll have 4 points available to increase my base stats. And in this game, I am increasing my health a bit as I am getting killed way too fast. In that sense, I'm like a fragile glass cannon. So that is the... Alright, I had to take those stairs over there. Okay, so let's get through here. We are going through hell. Basically, just so you have a little bit of a quick recap, people, we are doing the... I want to access the Embers expansion, which I could never play back in the day. As you have to finish the game on normal and epic difficulty to do so. And I only finished it on normal, because I did 100% completion of it. I did every single side quest as I showed in the first stream. Okay, we got another legendary there.
Your inventory is full.
Oh fuck, the shape of that thing must be... The shape of that... It's a bow, right? Yeah, the shape of that thing must be unbearable. It must be quite... Must be like that. Must take 8... No, it takes 4, but it's vertical, okay. Okay, that's the problem. This is legendary. We have all legendaries. We looted all legendaries. Okay, I need to empty my inventory eventually. Okay, got it. Good. This one is also legendary. Okay, right. Okay, we'll move these over there. Don't worry, people. I know what I'm doing. That way we have that one there open. That way we have another one open. We have 1 slot, 2 slot, and here one for a trinket or something. Okay. This one, the one that I just dropped. Primitive chest. Now I see that it drops another legendary. No, it's okay. It's okay, it's just a gold one. It's okay. Good. So, I want to access the Embers expansion, which you can only access on legendary difficulty, which is the 3rd difficulty of this game. For that, I need to finish. I finished the game on normal difficulty with a 100% completion long ago, back when I played. We are talking about 2008, 2010, something like that. And now I'm playing the game on epic difficulty. The second difficulty is like in Diablo, Nightmare, and Hell difficulties. So basically, the idea is that I have to finish the game on epic difficulty. We are dealing with monsters up to 11 levels above us, as I dealt with some 66 boss monsters. Eventually, this because our lesser mobs. We are dealing with that. My build is proving to be quite successful because of the high damage. As you can see, level 63, I'm 56, and it's working properly. City of Lost Souls, Lost Souls. Okay, or normal quality there. Oh. So I need to finish the game on epic difficulty. I need to finish the Immortal Throne expansion. I already finished the base game. This is the expansion from 2008. Just so you have a quick recap. The original game was released back in 2006. Then this is the expansion from 2008. And several years later, back in 2015 or something like that, much more recent, after they re-released the legacy version of it, they released I think it is the Ragnarok expansion, the one about the Northlands, that we finally need to finish to unlock legendary difficulty, and I can finally go for the Embers expansion. That is the idea, people. So that's the idea. That's the course of action, basically. That's basically the course of action. I already talked about the subscribers and the level up. I love that sound. I already talked about the subscribers over at Twitch. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will never forget you without a doubt. Not only because of the money, but because of the irreplaceable company that you all are to me. So pretty good. I wish I could go over there, because most of my viewers are from Europe. I wish I could go over there to Europe and invite you all to a drink. I have the citizenship. I have the Italian citizenship. In that sense, I cannot enter. The problem is that I would need to pay like a flight there and leave all of my jobs here. People, I bet you understand. I can do that. That's the thing. Oh well. That's the idea. Okay, I wish I could invite you all to a drink. That's the thing. Okay, so as you can see here, for example, since I'm getting one hit killed by some bosses, I will invest some extra points there on health. As you can see, it increased there. I will invest some points there so I stop getting killed, and I have very few potions. I better go back to town and grab some potions. Give me a second. I should have done this before starting the stream. Sorry, people. I am the worst. How could I forget to buy the stupid potions before starting the stream? I'm the worst. No. Yes. yes, it happens. No, the thing is that I start the streams right as I return from my jobs, so I don't have time to pretty much leave everything organized for next time. That's the thing. Oh, what's this? Double the armor I'm using, pierce resistance, elemental poison, life leech resistance. That's good. That's quite good. Energy regeneration, offensive ability, total speed, reduction to all requirements, and damage to undead. Ah, but the one I'm using gives you 10% extra experience. I don't know, huh? I don't know, people, though the offensive ability is quite powerful. I don't remember that stat, but it was here. Does it explain? Modifies your chance to hit and land critical hits in melee. Well, it increases the critical hit chance. Alright, so this one is a quite interesting naming convention for critical chance. Well, yeah, that's a huge difference. Can I equip it? Oh, I bet it's not for my class, but who the fuck cares after all? What's this? The Charon's ore? Yeah, well, this is a quest item now. This is okay. Okay. Stun to an ore and brace of bleeding poison. 37 extra poison damage. Chance to avoid projectiles. 33% extra armor. But yeah, it will take. But it will remove the -6 health regeneration penalty that I have there. Oh, I will lose 168 damage of poison retaliation over 6 seconds. And I will lose the health. But well, I will get health regeneration back. This should return. This should give me natural health regeneration once again. Yeah, it took out all of the points that I had. And I will need to remove the relic. I don't know, people. I don't know. Yeah, the armor should compensate. The armor should definitely compensate. Health regeneration, life leech resistance. The 20% total speed is quite tempting as well, as you can progress faster through the game. Like, well, this is useless. 21% poison damage, but it's the one that replaces the other. Only the bracers enhance poison damage. Isn't there any other piece of gear that amplifies poison damage? That would be quite cool for me. 35 strength, vitality damage, energy drain, 25%. I mean, I'm a beast. Where did I get those things? Back in my normal. Those are my rings from my normal playthrough. 47%, 10% overall physical damage. That's brutal. Okay. That one is vitality damage, but this one affects all damage that you do. Okay. Chiron's loot. Oh, what the fuck? I have. Damn it. I love that the loot in this game is quite reasonable. Pets. I still don't have a pet. Dexterity. No. No, I should have done this before starting the stream. Sorry, people. I'm the worst ever. I'm the worst ever. I should have done this before starting the stream. I know this is boring for most people over at YouTube, for example. Hey, what about this one? Aha, but it doesn't. I saw first Drakensang on YouTube. Ah, you watched the district, by the way. I almost forgot to tell you. First off, how you doing? Love to see you once again. And I forgot to tell you, I cannot give you the big badge yet, but I am working to do so. Apparently, it has some kind of silly, stupid requirement that says 5 people need to talk at the same time in chat. So 5 people have talked at the same time in chat. I've tried to give it to you. I searched for that. I said, there, I will fix this, as I'm fixing several things. I need to design subscriber badges. I need to design a lot of things. I am adjusting the resolution, dealing with a lot of stuff. Among those, I searched for the one that you asked me, the beep badge for so you can post links and everything. But it says 5 people need to talk at the same time. Now the problem is 5 people have talked at the same time. The problem is that I don't know how it measures time, and it must have been that it has kind of like a timer of seconds, because I have had 5 people on stream, but it must have some internal timer of seconds that expires after some seconds, and it doesn't count. And I have 4 out of 5. It says 80% complete, streamer. You're about to do 4 out of 5 for unlocking the big badges. And I said, what the fuck is this piece of shit. What the fuck is this piece of shit? I have had 5 people chatting, and but it says at the same time. So yeah, apparently the timer expired and some shit like that didn't work. So as soon as it happens, I'll give you the big badge. I saw something in the first part of Drakensang video. You need to do something again in the next Drakensang online stream. I skipped something. Yeah, you were mentioning. You saw the first Drakensang on you, the first the first boss. You mean the one when I started playing the game, and you liked it? Something something wrong with it? There's something I need to do again in the next Drakensang online stream. Fire away, District. What would it be? You skip the Heredur boss. No, no, I didn't skip it. It should be by the end of the next stream. I went back and did it because iTechig that day helped me do it like he helped me do it like he did it like carrying me. He did like carrying me. The person one shot it. You had to do it alone. I went back. I did it alone. I think it's in the next stream. I think I did it alone. It's in the next stream. I went back and did it alone. I did it. I did it. Really? Yes. I went back and did it alone. If it's not in the next stream, it's in the other. But it's there. I did it. If not, I can. I have to check. No, well, no. District. Don't worry. If not, I can do it on stream next time. I don't know if I won't one shot it because I will scale the difficulty. Would you like that? I have no problem. For me, it's a pleasure. But I did it. It's not that I didn't. Yesterday, yes, and there, as I was chatting with them, because as I tell you, what I love the most is chatting with them, and he one-shotted of another one boss that we can also do. Would you like that? For me to start with the boss rush, with the one from yesterday and that one, like that. But I did it. I did this trick. No. I know that. And also know that regardless of that, I am measuring the difficulty of the game by my own merits, not when one of you helps me and one shots them. No. But I went back and did it. If it's not the next one, it's in the other one. Like when I more or less figured out how it was and what he had done. It is true. I think he was quite hyped up for the stream, and he one shot. It is true. It's true. Can you repeat what I had? What I had a loading problem. Can you repeat? Yes, that basically it is true that in the first stream, iTechig got hyped up with the stream, and he one shotted it. But as I was telling you, the yesterday also the ender they were helping me. They were helping me district. They were helping me farm, and yes, they one shotted them. I went back and did it that one, but since we one shotted another one yesterday, I can go back and do and start with a boss rush. I will. What about that? We can start with a boss rush with Heredur and with the Sand Valley. Sand Valley, thumbs up. You would like a boss rush. And the Sand Valley one, yes, the Ender helped me yesterday, and they also did it. Basically that. Hazar, I couldn't pay attention to the game. He one-shotted him. Indeed, I can scale the difficulty, anyways, because I haven't hit level 100. That's a good thing about not being level 100. I can scale the difficulty, and so you'd like a Heredur, and I can add you the Sand Boss one, the Sand Boss. We need to see how. Yeah, you have to do it again. If they help, we need to see how far. You'd like to see me struggle, District. You like to see me struggle with the bosses. No worries. It's a pleasure. No worries. I can do the one that we one-shotted yesterday. By the end of the stream, they one-shotted. Yes. Okay. Perfect. No worries. Will be my pleasure and an honor because you're all experienced. You like difficulty, of course. I immensely enjoy it. I immensely enjoy it. Of course. Yeah. No, I generally don't do it as since you are all experienced players, and maybe I think that since I'm playing, let's say, a basic form of the hard content that you play every day, I feel that, well, for them it must be like a simple like a simple quest, like a side quest, dispatching those bosses, and I say, well, it must be like boring gameplay for them rather than exciting hardcore boss fights. So that's why. But no worries. When you first tried Herdur, you said, and this is what I like. This is difficulty and a good ending for a stream. Indeed, 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 indeed. I love the difficulty of games. I think as I tell everyone every night, a game without difficulty destroys the abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics. If you destroy the abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics, the replayability value of the game is destroyed. If the replayability value of the game is destroyed, then, as I always tell, the quality of a game is subjective, not a matter of mental perception, or not a matter of my mental opinion, and the games that we remember the most are the ones that we play the most. If they don't have replayability, because they don't have abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics, they objectively don't create a chemical reaction of dopamine in your brain, and they are not a good game if they don't have difficulty. But if you did, Herder, yeah, it's okay. I will have to watch part 2 when I eat next time. Yeah, I repeated it. I repeated it. That I can assure you. It's even marked with a timestamp, so you shouldn't have any problem uh, having it. I think I added a timestamp. I can. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. People, wait for anyone else watching the stream. I will see if I can. I'm not crazy. I did it. Okay, well, as I said at the beginning, thanks from the bottom of my heart to the 85th YouTube subscriber. Then I will display your alert. Then, I don't know why this shit failed. Crowbar, if you are watching over at Discord, I will display, I said it at the beginning, your subscription as well. Crowbar. Hey, this is an old... Okay, this is an old subscriber from years ago that commented there. Okay. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it for you. If it wasn't the second one, I'll tell you if it's the second one or the third one. If you enjoy it, let me check this trick. Sorry for the rest. I need to find this for him. Let me check. Let me check this trick. Hang on. Hang on. If it's not, it's already published, I think. Yeah, it's already published, the second one. Dragon's Anniversary has been delayed from September 11th to 18th. Okay, so Ambra was also quite depressed yesterday about that. Where is it? Here this is where when we started. This has to be part 2 when I showed you Diablo Immortal. The launch, the catastrophic launch that it had. Has to be this one, 2 days ago, part 3. Let me check. No, and this is already Sylph Moor. It has to be the second one. Has to be the second one, because the third one is already Sylph Moor. I remember. Hang on a second, District. King's Hill questing. Yeah, it has to be the second one, because in the very first stream, I remember that techie helped me directly. But if you do it again, Herald has to be on painful. Yeah, I will scale the difficulty, of course. I will scale the difficulty, otherwise it's way too easy. Even more with Ambra's build. Here it is. In the timestamp district, here it indicates. It's in part 2. If you look at timestamp at 3 hours of the first video, the one you watched, the final timestamp, the timestamp is like the text I add at the end. It says first impressions conclusions for as the viewer shows us the Herdur boss fight, but between parentheses it says In next part, soloed. In next part is soloed. But no worries. I can deal with that. Perfect. Yes, I knew I had added it's at the end of it. Look at for timestamp in the first one at hour 3.04, and it indicates that in the next part that is already published, in part 2, it's already published, there you should find it. I didn't indicate the boss fight with timestamps in the second one. That's the thing. But it is there. It is there if you want to see it on normal. And I can do it, as you said, on... It's in part 2. It has to be in part 2. It has to be in part 2. So, Herlur, you want it on painful? Okay, I'll see if it lets me do it, and I'll do that. So we can start with the boss rush tomorrow. Tomorrow we can start with the boss rush. Right? That sounds good. We can do that, pretty much. I'm still configuring everything, and as well, as soon as you don't have to do it again, you did it in part 2. No, but if you like it, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. we can do that one and the sun one. No worries. Because we skipped one yesterday, I think. No, it's good. You already did it. I just didn't so far. You didn't watch it. Now you don't want me to do it. As you wish, District. As you wish. For me, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. As I told you, I spent 5 years reading. Here, I'll show you. Because the other day when I was playing, shit. Well, I was a stand there. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you why that the other day I was telling you about how I spent 5 years without touching a video game. Just so you have an idea. Just so you have an idea that why I have no problem doing those things. I'll show you. I'll show you a quite brutal weapon of mass destruction here. Just so you have an idea. These are the type of books that I had to read back in law school. So look at this shit. Look at this shit. And like this, I have a bookshelf up to the roof of my room. So imagine several of these things. It has a bit of dust there. Several of these beasts. Look at how big it is. This is, for example, this is international. Oh, shit is lagging. Shit is lagging. Why is it lagging? Why is it lagging? Why is it lagging? You don't like why is it that sometimes Twitch goes to shit? Why is it that it goes to shit? 31 FPS? Why are you dropping frames? Please, please, not this shit again. Not this shit again. There we go, there we go. Not this shit again. Why are you lagging? Why are you lagging? Why is it? It's always on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Well, for example, this one is international private law. For example, after reading these sheets for 5 years, for example, after reading those sheets, I have several of them. I bet you can see. I bet you can see why I have. For me, it's all like an amazing experience. Sharing even a second of gameplay with all of you. Let me see this shit. It's true. Sometimes it gets kind of like laggy. There we go. There we go. So yeah, pretty much. So we don't do it. We don't do it. If you don't find it, you tell me. If you for some reason, because I can make mistakes as well. If for some reason it's not there, I remember putting it, but if for some reason it's not there, I remember doing it at least. You tell me and we do it. No worries at all. And the sand one, it is true that we skipped it last time. It is true. We can do that one. And the big badges, as soon as it hits, that stupid thing of at the same time, that stupid shit, I'll give it to you. So no worries. Flying Energies, yeah, we'll probably watch tomorrow part 2. How you doing, Flying Energies? Thank you. I am preparing more of those. How are you doing, Flying Energies? How are you doing, Flying Energies? Great experience with Drakensang. there. I saw you showed me your character last week. It was amazing with that, with all of those little um, the headless rider and the other one with the skull. They look so cool. They look so cool, flying energies. With those little animations. Besides, you heard the news, Razor. News? The ones about Drakensang that you told me. Flying Energies quit Drakensang 2 days ago. Oh no, why? He wasn't he doing like some kind of new run of it, something like that. You quit it. The aliens succeeded in their quest. In the end, what's what? And why you say, District? He didn't want to quit. Why you say it? You say it in that sense. I don't know if he wanted. He said that he wanted to. You said, Flying Energies, that you wanted to purge yourself from Drakensang. That's the last thing I finally. He quit because of the community. So you didn't want. Oh no, well, sad to hear that. Because it's not like of his own choice. Well, it is your choice, Flying Energies, but like not because you got tired of the game itself. Because of the community. Why? What happened? If I may know, if not, no worries. Because of the community. Why? They were like aggressive. Someone was aggressive. He streamed Drakensang, and instead of getting followers, he was getting up. Okay, I get it. Flying Energies, if by Drakensang people, Flying Energies, if you're still there, I know that whatever I could tell you, it's a different situation because it's a different scope. You had much more audience, and in that sense, I'm still, let's say, novice. But the truth of the matter is that for 4 years, I've tried, and I can tell you this: my I District saw it, I think, last year. I had a follower, a Polish follower, when I was playing a very obscure game, Dragons before Drakensang, which was Sacred 2, that he unfollowed me as I was simply expressing my political ideas, in that sense. Not even he enjoyed the chats, and the first thing he told me, Flying Energy, just so you see that it happens to everyone. If you find a bit of comfort in that, just so you see that it happens to everyone. The first phrase, right? Imagine a person. The first phrase he says is, because I didn't talk about politics. He said, I would never. District was here, I think, even then, because then I complained about it. I would never feel uncomfortable in a political debate. After saying that, he unfollowed me just because in one of the streams, as I thought I was alone, but they all watched the streams, he unfollowed as I said that I didn't like the European People's Party. Just because of that. So don't feel bad. Never feel bad, because at the end of the day, people like that, I'm sorry, but really don't have the minimum amount of consciousness as to measure the value of what you do. Right? So, in that sense, if people don't measure the very minimum thing one can do as a Twitch viewer, which is following a channel, if you like what they do, and they unfollow, at the end of the day, while I got angry that day, I understood that pretty much that person didn't have the minimum amount of appreciation for what I did. It's the truth of the matter. He said he had a lot of appreciation. Truth of the matter is, it wasn't. No, you don't feel bad. You made a good decision, without a doubt. No, it makes me feel bad that someone who loves a game, actually, you met a few friends from Drakensang Online, and it's enough. You are happy to have them. Well, glad to hear that. But I feel it's sad that because of that, you quit the game. In that sense, I can share you that sentiment, and I can tell you one that is even worse in my case, just so you see that it happens to everyone. Just so at least you feel like that you share a bit the sentiment for those that didn't appreciate it. Um, After that, it didn't stop there. The follower I'm talking about, yeah, it's sad, but I can do any. You can't do anything about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, flying energies. Don't worry about it. Um, I don't have much time to get into Discord communities and etc. But according to what I've seen, yours uh, is quite big. You won't have any problem. You won't have any problem. You have people that love you. You have district. You have. I saw Phantom once. I saw even more people that love you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Look, after that, true. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Flying Energies. Look, I can tell you even worse stuff because um, I think I've streamed even even more than what you did, and it was 80% of that time of those 4 years alone. And you see me discouraged? No, not at all. Not at all. If I had to stream alone the rest of my life, I honestly wouldn't care. But it's not even your case. Look at that. It's not even your case. It's not even your case, Flying Energies. It's not even your case in that sense. It's not even your case. You did the networking. You did everything correctly. I was a disaster in that sense. And you see me depressed. Not at all. I was a disaster because I didn't have time. So think about it like that. Only the other day I was reading it, Flying Energies. Out of millions of people, think of it like this. Think of it like this. Out of millions of people, millions, huh? Millions. Um, only 50%, only 50% make it to affiliate. Only 50%, roughly. You are beyond affiliate. You are beyond affiliate in that sense because of how you manage your channel and everything. You're beyond affiliate. So, besides that, English isn't your. You made affiliate after only 1 month of stream. Well, think of it like that. I spent 4 years playing English. I spent 4 years, and honestly, if I had to be honest, just because of the games that I like playing, not because of December to January. Well, there you have it. See if you should be happy, not because of money. Uh, Only in that sense, not because of money. You should be happy because it's something that not everyone can achieve, first of all. Only 50%. Then on top of that, because I didn't want to stop there, on top of that, both for you, me, and a lot of other people, English isn't even our first language. You really don't care about money while streaming. I just want a nice community. Well, and you have it because not 99%. Let's say 85% of Twitch, 85% of streamers don't have a community. They stream completely alone. I'm not talking about one, two, three people. Alone. Like I did for 4 years. Completely alone. Completely alone. Chat empty for 3-4 hours. So, if that's what you are seeking, well, even more. You already have it. You already have it. You want a bigger one. You are in the right track to do so. Uh, in that sense. So don't feel discouraged. I can tell you another story, just so you see, how correctly you did things. It took me 4 years. I had that follower that the worst part. I had that follower still watches me. Would you be? He supposedly hates me because after I said I didn't like the People's Party of Europe, uh, um, and he unfollowed immediately as I was saying this. I think District was here precisely that day that I got in a bit of a rage attack. In that sense, after that, he left me It's in the link that is in the description of the Secret 2 description. He left me 5 huge paragraphs over at YouTube, basically telling me that I'm an idiot. Right? And I replied the 5 paragraphs. And I replied the 5 paragraphs and kept going. Imagine if I had stopped there because of that person. District would have never known of my existence. He would have never known of my existence. Uh, you as well, Patrick. Now nobody would have enjoyed of whatever time we could share together. In that sense, we would have both lost, both sides. Me as the streamer and all of them as the audience. Everyone would have lost, and even the idiot that insulted me would have lost because he still watches them as balls. In that sense. So imagine, Flying Energy, don't be discouraged by that. District mentioned instead of getting followers, don't worry. Think of it like this, Flying Energies. I even lost followers. I even lost followers, Flying Energies, as I was by the same system of Twitch, because I then asked them, I then asked the person, it was Bane Death from Star Wars Your Republic, and he told me, no, I didn't unfollow you. I didn't unfollow you, and it could be automatic as well. It happened to me. You must be thinking, no, that's crazy, it cannot be. I lost followers automatically by the same system of Twitch. First, I would also check that because it happened to me. The person told me, no, I didn't follow you. I didn't follow you. No. And then he followed again. So he wasn't lying. And he stayed the whole stream, 3 hours, and he told me, I will verify that I remained followed. So it wasn't a mistake on my part. So there are many things that even the same Twitch does to ensure that that 75% that I'm telling you that never reaches affiliate remains like that. Sorry, the word followers again. So I need to see why I won't be badges so that doesn't happen. Give me a second, Flying Energies. Here we go. Help message for yeah, the word followers because of the bot. How could I will never. Sorry, I cannot. I really don't care if I lose again followers. You should forgot to mention that when you stream Dragon Sang online, there are almost nobody from Dragon Sang on streams, like 3 or 4 maximum out of 15 or 20 followers. That's the case. Sorry that it held the message because of the word. In that viewers, or viewers. Sorry. It's also blocked because of the stupid bots. Yes. I see. You really don't care if you lose again the followers. Did you forget to mention that when you stream Dragon Sang online, there are almost nobody from Dragon Sang. Yeah. I don't know if precisely I ever told you why I blocked the word viewers and followers. Because my Discord got hacked by bots. District told me that it also happened to you. And that's the case. Yeah, because of the bot. No, the developer of Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Shard was on my Discord, and he left because precisely he got scared of one bot attack that took my account and used it to offer cryptocurrency to everyone. This was long ago, several years ago when I started Flying Energies. So regarding that, the community of Dragonsang Online that you are mentioning, well, in that sense, it's what I told you. Think of it like that. We are, well, you even more than me in that sense. In my case, it was a painful process because of, I guess, my own stupidity of how I handled variety and everything. But it's what I wanted to do. It's precisely that. We are on the 15% top of Twitch in that sense, believe it or not, because most people, sadly, because of how shitty discoverability is and everything, they stream alone in that sense. So If it's the community that you appreciate, damn it, why is this shit lagging again? It's always on Wednesdays and Thursdays that this shit lags. It's always on Wednesdays and Thursdays. In that sense, I'll end up capping the frame rate for this shit, so it stops bothering me, because maybe it's even that. So in that sense, don't worry. Look, I'll tell you another story of all of my failures, so you see. This is good, because people, this is something that I admire of the United Kingdom. They have some
Can't carry anymore.
they have some classes. They have some classes that they teach people. They teach their
Your
first
inventory is full.
their first year students how to, for example, deal with the frustration in that sense. So don't feel discouraged. Don't feel discouraged, because I'll tell you another tragedy. No one ever talks about their failures. They always talk about when things go right. No, people should talk more frequently of all of their failures. Of all of their failures. Because precisely, true success is going from failure to failure without losing the will of keep going on in that sense. For example, I can tell you, when I also streamed in 4 years, just so you have an idea, just so you have an idea. Besides everything that I told you about the the Polish viewer that hated me and 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 unfollowed as I was expressing my political ideas and everything. Before that, I had another Polish viewer that loved my reviews. We're talking about old people that loved my reviews. I was incredible. I was a genius for them, and etc. And from one day to another, for example, the other Polish viewer also unfollowed and didn't watch their reviews anymore. Pretty much, I told it to District. I think I lost a lot because of that. And honestly, yes, it's discouraging, but if they don't appreciate what you do, Flying Energies, they don't value you as a person. It's their loss. It's their loss. It's their loss, and they have no idea how much effort it takes to create a quality stream. They think maybe that it's some kind of of I don't know, that it happens overnight, that you can create your own style and everything, for example, in that sense. And and it's not the case. And it's not the case. uh, I understand them in the sense that at the beginning, before I streamed, uh, I thought of it like that. But I immediately, as I started doing it in the first one, in the second stream, I said, "Oof, no, this is something that
Your inventory is
takes
full.
effort, that takes a lot of effort, and takes time, which is something that is also worth money, because the time precisely that we don't spend streaming, we spend it working or doing things for us. So it's our time, something precious to us, to every single human being. So at the end of the day, if they don't value that, uh, it speaks more about them than you. If you know what I mean? In that sense. So never be discouraged, because as I've said, I could tell you many more times. As I've said, I've streamed alone for 4 years, and if I had stopped, for example, before, imagine what would have happened. None of you, for example, would have ever known of my existence, and I bet that at least for a single second, uh, you had a laugh with me or whatever, and it would have never happened. It would have never happened in that sense. So, in the case of the Dragon's community, well, communities. I can tell you that in Star Wars: Your Republic, for example, you know that I play that game. In the case of communities, the part of the community that you are mentioning, that you had Nobody from them returned to the stream. Okay, just so you have an idea, it's not about returning to the stream, but in Star Wars: The Republic, you know that I played it. It's like my version of Dragonstein. I do player versus player a lot. I'm a PvPer in that sense. Uh, you would be surprised I get insulted every weekend because maybe they are rolling a party of a tank and a healer, and my damage is so high that I can pierce the guard of the tank on the healer, which reduces damage, and even with the reduced damage, I kill the healer. And because of that, I swear you eternal hatred, I will kill you. The thing is, sorry, I cannot take as well seriously people who don't behave like mature human beings. If they have like the integrity, the lack of integrity of following you, then unfollowing you in the same content like that, or well, I don't know. Maybe you complain about the community about their attitude that they are not friendly in that sense. It happens in all of them in that sense. And as I said, I would
I'm now
suggest
a
not
mod of
taking that
Extended.
seriously. Don't take
First
them
things first,
seriously because
strange
at the
visitors
end of the
don't let
day,
income traipsing
uh,
through our land.
they insult or whatever. They don't behave like in a friendly way because they don't have better thing to do. Maybe if it's the part of the community, maybe it's because of that, because it has happened to me. That maybe I kill someone in player versus player generally and they insult me. I just press ignore and carry on with my day. If the person is bad hard, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. I'm telling you this because I saw that a lot of the Drakensang characters say PvP, and I know that it works like that. It has happened to me. I'm like telling you my own, let's say, personal experience. Don't know if any of what I said made it did make sense, but if it actually helped you flying energies. But in that case, my intention was that it actually helped you not being discouraged. I could tell you many more uh, times, many more times. What's this with this lagging? Why is this shit lagging? I can tell you many more times in which in which I for what's this shit? I will limit the frame rate, people. I'm sick of this shit. Oh, I can't. What's this shit? I mean, I was saying something important. What's this shit? Let's see. What about now? Sorry if you guys missed what I was precisely saying. Sorry, people. Where was it? Here. Let's see now. Shit, this thing is still lagging. What's wrong with this fucking to be the game? Well, now? What about now? Let's see. What's wrong with this game? I'll limit the frame rate otherwise. Could you hear? I was thinking to buy Star Citizen if you heard about the games. The Flying Energy. Sorry, Flying Energy. Did most of what I say go through? Did only the game lag? Besides, I want to verify that because I couldn't see it. Did most of what I say go through? That like the previous topic? Mostly. Only the game lag. Perfect. Perfect. Then with that, never get discouraged. I could tell you even more times. Your voice is okay. Perfect, 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 perfect. Then it's just the game or the area or I don't know what the shit it's doing or what the shit it's doing there. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know what's wrong with it. I could tell you as I to wrap it up. Uh, never feel discouraged. As I've said, can tell you my experience. I was alone for 4 years. Only when you stream TitanQuest, you lag in game. XC. I don't know. Maybe I have to limit the frame rate. Maybe I have to limit the frame rate, but I don't like to do that. I have it at unlocked frame rates, but well, uh, yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I don't know what happens with that shit. Yeah. Basically, that. I could tell you many other times. I kind of like had people unfollow in that sense because of the most random reasons you could imagine, and even Twitch, because as I told you, it happened to me twice. It even unfollowed them automatically because of lack of activity in the channel or something like that. It sometimes does it, so they ensure you remain like you don't grow. So in that sense, don't worry. It has happened to me over at YouTube. People who follow and unfollow, things like that. So don't worry, don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. I stream alone 4 years, as I told you. 3, let's say 3, and not alone. Maybe sometime visited and stayed and chatted with me and etc. But then maybe the person was just busy or whatever, and there was nothing I could do about it, and no problem. And the ones that had to return, they return. In that sense, so don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. In that sense, you're telling me that you made it to that in 1 year. So if you made it in 1 year, uh, you were 1% of the population playing energy. Don't worry, don't worry. Besides, English is not our first language, so even more merit to us. It's not even our first language. That sounds. Getting to Star Citizen. Star Citizen. Well, we can talk about that if anyone is interested. The X files of the video game industry. Star Citizen. I don't know if you know, people, what's with that game. Let me see if it stops lagging now. 13 minutes ago. No, it should have stopped. There we go. Should be smooth. Should be smooth. Should be smooth. Star Citizen. The pretty much the X files of the gaming industry. Star Citizen. I don't know if you know it. That game was in development for 10 years, even more. The graphics engine is from back then. It's using the Cry engine from Crysis, as it was the top engine back then. In that sense, the lag stopped, right? It should have stopped. Yeah, it stopped. You will be, you will laugh at why is the reason that it lags. I found it. I think I found it. Something around 13 years in alpha, maybe more. Yes, exactly. Then Mark Hamill jumped on the project. They did the campaign and etc. But if you want my advice, be cautious with it. Buy it after it's been completely released. Because the developers of that game, I'll tell you why I would suggest you caution with it. The developers of that game, uh, already have the money derived from all of the pre-orders that it had to do. So they already have the money. So they really don't have any reason, objectively, to deliver a quality product. Maybe they do. I hope they do. I hope I'm wrong. But generally, when you get paid beforehand, developers tend to be a bit lazy. it's not just a bit of money, Flying Energies. They became almost millionaires, the developers of that game. They ran campaigns selling $2,000 ships in game and those things. If it's a success, well, I'll be happy that I'm wrong. But Star Citizen is a project in which the developers already have all of the money in the world derived from game sales already before selling the game, which is an unusual situation. And I fear, if I had to predict something in my absolute ignorance, if I had to predict something, generally when developers are already millionaires before they even launched the product, they may run the risk of getting lazy. Like imagine if I told you that you had to develop the game but you already got all of the sales derived from it. Like it's pure, like let's say personal responsibility of the person in that sense. The consciousness we are relying, or you're relying if you buy the game, on completely on the consciousness of the individuals. So at least research a bit about them before jumping on that wagon, if you want my advice. Because it's not a normal case. It's not like Hollow Knight, that also took a lot of time, but the developers are not millionaire before starting, before the release of the game. Like, we could cite as a parallel example Hollow Knight, a Silk Song that was released some days ago, that was also quite anticipated by everyone, pretty much. We could cite that one. But really, in that sense, the developers um, didn't get the sales of a multi-billion-dollar game before even uh, before even putting before even releasing the game. It's something unheard of. So don't know what you think, Flying Energies, but I can tell you that insight on the game. As I followed I followed this the history of pretty much a lot of games in that sense, the gaming history of all of them in that sense. But I can tell you that about that one. Be careful, because then you may up spending a lot of money, $60-$80 on it for a game that really 47. Well, that 47. Well, they reduce it a bit, but still, consider that the developers really are already millionaires. They are already millionaires of that game. It's a weird case. They sold in-game ships for $2,000, crazy stuff that I haven't seen really anywhere else. That's why I call it the X-Files of the gaming industry, because it's not common, as I told you. Establishing a parallel example, Hollow Knight Silksong, that was released recently, a Metroidvania. Alright, it got a lot of delays, it was quite important, etc. But really, the developers, Team Cherry, they weren't millionaires before even releasing their product. Like, imagine it's like compared to a streamer. Imagine if you got a subscription from a viewer before you start streaming, like, and also they bring a story called Squadron 42 coming 2026. Same devs. No, that one is the one in which Mark Hamill jumped on the project, precisely. It was a support of Mark Hamill, the Luke Skywalker. We can say Luke Skywalker, basically. Mark Hamill jumped on the project. That was supposedly the campaign of the game. The campaign that they will release several campaigns because supposedly the game is infinite. I would also pose this question. How can the game be infinite if okay, yeah, it's supposedly the campaign Squadron 42. It's when Mark Hamill jumped on the project. I also feel they used the fame of Luke Skywalker, of Mark Hamill, of the actor, as an element to compensate for what I'm going to tell you now. How is it possible? Using pure logic. You know that I'm a scholastic philosopher and I love using pure logic, people. Uh, District, I don't know what you think or if you know about Start Citizen or whatever, if you're still there. I use this logic. Back when they started, 10 years ago, did we have the tools to create a space simulation game with all of the stuff that they've been promising? Because they have been promising a lot. They have been promising that the game is endless. Pretty much like like No Man's Sky in 2015, and then it ended up being a flop, and it gradually got upgraded. So, did they have the tools for that? And on top of that, did they have the experience with the combat? Because the developer was supposedly, it was the famous one behind Wing Commander. Which one was it? Chris Roberts, could it be the name? Flying Energies, it was that one. The developer of Wing Commander, supposedly. That's the hype around it. That is the same developer of Wing Commander. For those of you who don't know, Wing Commander was a famous... it was Super Nintendo. It was 4th generation, basically. The Super Nintendo version, I think I played. You also have the PSP version of Wing Commander on the EA Replay on the PSP, for example. And also the Game Boy Advance was the last Wing Commander game. They were in 2D, people. Well, they also had the PS1 versions of it. But it's because of that. It's because it's Chris Roberts that developed the original Wing Commander. But you can see that there's a huge leap between doing a 2D Wing Commander game during the 4th generation and promising the biggest game of all time, endless in space, and all of those things. For example, I know I don't play the genre Flying Energies because I presume it would be boring for most of you, but I love it. This is a space simulation genre, quite obscure. Things like Freelancer, Wing Commander, Dark Star Legacy. It's a genre that I generally avoid mentioning at all. I also never played those games. Well, it's a genre. It's a genre. For example, there's a German one. Since you like Drakensang that was developed in Germany, there's a company called Egosoft that developed the X1, X2, X3 series. If you like those. It's a quite niche genre. I wanted to somehow showcase eventually. It's a quite niche genre. Freelancer, Dark Star Legacy, in that sense. It's a genre that takes a lot of... It has a huge learning curve. Things that, like EVE Online, also multiplied its popularity by the end of the 2000s. By 2010, the popularity of an MMORPG called EVE Online. I'm telling you more or less the history of the genre. And of course, after Freelancer and those, I wanted to showcase Freelancer precisely because it was a classic and I could never play it. But they involve economy, and I don't know how Chris Roberts, I don't know if he could jump from the simplicity, the relative simplicity in a direct comparison of a 2D space simulation like the first Wing Commander or the GBA or the Game Boy Advance Wing Commander game. I love the Game Boy Advance, for those of you who don't know. The last 2D Wing Commander, I think it was the Game Boy Advance one, was the 4th one. He would be jumping from that to... He released some on the PS1, but we're still talking about the 90s or the very early 2000s. I think it was 2001. From that to this, I don't know if Chris Roberts kept up, with the complexity of how the genre evolved, because he wasn't there with the success of Freelancer, he wasn't there with the success of the X1 series by Egosoft, a German developer, he wasn't there with the success of I don't know. Well, I don't know. Starfield wasn't good, but pretty much it sold well, I guess, with all of the campaign that Microsoft did. I don't know if he adapted all of the 2D mechanics from the 4th generation to the complexity of a modern 9th, 10th generation game. It's a huge jump, so I would advise to exercise. I would advise you to exercise caution in that sense, because of that, because of the gap in complexity that the genre has had, that the developer of Star Citizen really was a passive observer. He wasn't an active developer during all of this time. He was a passive observer. So, if on top of that we add that the developer of the game being a passive without doing nothing, in that sense, because the game hasn't been released. I think it hasn't been released yet. It's like that. It's been 10 years and it hasn't been released. It's like getting a subscriber before streaming. Flying Energies is what I'm telling you. For me, that is at least suspicious. Maybe then I'm wrong. And Chris Roberts adapted a Wing Commander since the 90s in a gap of 20 years or more, 30 years, I don't know what the fuck, because which depends on which one you consider, if you consider the 4th generation ones or more modern examples, I don't know. If he could adapt the formula 20 years later, already having the money, like without being asked to do any effort as a game developer, if he could do that, well, then I have nothing to say. I was more than I was wrong, and it's alright. And maybe the game is amazing, but if you ask me, I would advise you to exercise caution, because I'm not sure if they will be able to fulfill all of those promises that they've been doing. They've been selling ships for in-game ships, for $2,000. I think that is absolutely psychopathic, straight up. Sorry if you had hype for the game and I just killed it, Flying Energies. I'm the worst person in the world. Sorry if anyone else had hype for the game and I just killed it. And I'm a demon. I'm a fucking demon. In that sense, sorry, but those are my honest thoughts. You know I share my honest thoughts. It's the case. There are many good space simulation games that didn't take 10 years. That really the only difference, if we are being fair, is that they weren't developed by Chris Roberts. That's the thing. I think the guy is being hyped up more than what he is. Sorry. I might be a bit harsh, but those are my honest thoughts. I think the community is basing the expectation on the great memory of Wing Commander. In that sense, maybe I'm wrong. I would need to see the combat system. I'm interested to see how they handle the combat system in that sense, because it's a shooter at the end of the day. Then you can get off the ship and shoot things. I would expect something at least similar to Destiny with some RPG elements. I don't know if they added that. So yeah, pretty much. Sorry if I killed anyone's hype with the game. I hope I'm completely wrong. I hope I'm completely wrong. And the game is amazing because it's a genre that I love. But knowing the history of the genre, I would advise to exercise caution. A lot of caution. Because of the developer behind it and this situation that really he won't need to work for the rest of his life, people. I don't know if you know it. Only because of the donations of that game. I think it's a bit exaggerated. When you didn't even release it. If he had released it and he did everything right, well, alright, fair. But he didn't even release it. He didn't even release the project. It's still a project, people, if you think about it. Don't know if it was useful. Like Energies, don't know what you think. I didn't mean to discourage you from supporting them if you wanted to. I didn't mean to do that, but I would advise to exercise caution. Pretty much. With Star Citizen. It's the X-Files of the video game industry. 10, 10 years already done with it, and pretty much not released. How did they handle the level design? How did they handle it? How did they handle the combat? Is there already gameplay for me to see? For me to watch at YouTube? Like the combat? I don't mean the ships flying on space and what they promised that it would be quite big. The combat I'm worried about. The combat and the level design. Does it have quests? Does it have actions? That, for example, I'll give you another example that I wanted to showcase on stream. Starpoint Gemini 2. I wanted to try that indie game for a long time. It's also from that genre. And it was an indie developer. It did everything wrong with the first game, and then it corrected everything in the second one, and it was an incredible success. There's kind of like a pattern of practice of the developer throughout time. Here, the developer had a 20-year gap. But you see my argument. The developer is just, oh, it's Chris Roberts. He did Wing Commander. 20-year gap. 20-year gap. He was a passive observer of the genre and the gaming industry. But you see at least that I have logical arguments as to not blindly believing them. People, everyone went silent. I left you kind of like perplexed at the thought of all of the things that I had to say about Star Citizen. Or is it that the stream stopped working, pretty much? But well, that's my advice, pretty much. That's my advice. Didn't mean to discourage, but I use my knowledge of the industry to draw all of those conclusions. So I would advise to at least exercise caution, pretty much. Okay, people. Okay. Where were we? We were discussing some other thing. I got completely lost in thought. We were discussing something else precisely. Yeah, about the followers and etc. and my tragedies. Well, all right, we already wrapped up that one as well. Yeah, pretty much I covered everything. So, people, as I covered everything, I was mentioning that precisely to District that as soon as I unlock the VIP patch that you asked me about, District, I'll give it to you, so don't worry, it will be automatic. I'm keeping track of it. As I said, it's 80% complete, 4 out of 5 in that sense. As soon as it is unlocked, I'll give you that, so you can all. I hope it lets you say the word viewers and followers, and it allows you to post the links and everything. Regarding the boss fight, we can start with the boss rush. Next time. You said no about the older one, the Heredur one. It's in the second stream published at YouTube that you told me about. And and it is true I one-shotted, not me. It is true that Ender one-shotted yesterday in the Sand Valley, one of the bosses. I could offer you that one. We could do that one. We can start with the boss rush there. Well, not a boss rush, because it's only one that he one-shotted. Don't think, people, that he one-shotted a lot of the bosses. It was only one. But we gotta start with that one. Pretty much. In terms of boss fights, people of Dragonsang, I would say that either Nefertari or Callis were the top ones, huh? I would say they are the top ones. Why? Because of the reaction times that they required out of me as a player. It is true that the Dwarven Machine one, that precisely I also liked, was more complex. It had more abstract complexity, but the reaction times were slower. It's how interesting. And I generally like boss fights with the highest reaction time, with the shortest window of reaction time for the player, as I think that enhances the APM, the actions per minute requirement of the player, and I think that's always positive. Because, as you know, for example, it's not only that I personally hate turn-based games, though I play Pokemon, in that sense, and some other. For example, I think I recommended the Warlock atop Firetop Mountain and some others in the past. It is true, while that is the case, I do agree. This is an old debate. This is an old debate, people. This is an old debate that I have had with a lot of people. Once Dark Souls was released, I think it created a terrible tendency, a terrible, shitty tendency in the gaming industry, Dark Souls. Why? Because it gave players the idea that if combat is not slow and strategic, it's easy. And it's not the case. Out of here, if you're watching this as a YouTube bot, anyone watching this as a YouTube bot, or as a Twitch bot, I want you to think, did you play God of War 3 or God of War Ascension? Did you play specifically any of those? If you played any of those, which have the, let's say, how do they call it, the in that sense, the critics of the hack and slash genre, how do they call it? They call them button smashers. Basically, they call them button smashers. In that sense, they call them button smashers, making a negative connotation, trying to make a reference to the negative connotation of about the combat, that it is brain dead, that it doesn't require any kind of strategic thought from the player, just because you need a lot of APM, because you need a lot of actions. In God of War, it's quite fast, the combat, or Devil May Cry, for example, or Bayonetta. In that sense, that I think it's a terrible thing that Dark Souls has caused for the gaming industry. I know it's an unpopular topic to say nowadays, because Dark Souls has a lot of defenders. Of a staunch defenders, of community and everything. But I honestly don't give a shit. I know what I'm saying. I have probably followed the history of the industry much more than them. In that sense, sorry people. No. The key of the matter is this. Is it the fact that combat is fast on its own a factor that makes it easy? No, not at all. Combat can be fast and complex at the same time. The problem is that Dark Souls made a huge portion of the player base think that that is impossible, and it's not the case. If you play God of War Ascension, the final level, I assure you that most Dark Souls players won't be able to get through it. And I'm not even saying on the max difficulty, on Titan difficulty. I don't know what the fuck it was called. What I mean is that combat can be fast and complex at the same time. And because of the extra APM requirement of the speed, on the contrary to the popular belief that the popular tendency that we have nowadays, the popular tendency or belief, pretty much, but it's more of a tendency because it's more proclaimed en masse, like several people at the same time, without stopping to think what they're saying. If you think about it, games that have a complex, complex combat, in the sense that it's not just smashing the same button at the same time, like you could have in, let's say, the example of what they are trying to reference is do you remember the movie games from the 6th generation, from the PlayStation 2 original Xbox era? Those that were really button smashers, that you only had to press a square because there was only one type of attack. Those would be real button smashers. But God of War 3 or God of War Ascension are not button smashers, Bayonetta or Devil May Cry or Darksiders. They are not. There's a lot of strategic complexity to them. Darksiders even incorporates RPG elements in a lot of the cases that I'm mentioning. Now, on top of that, off top of having the strategic combat, on top of that, having fast gameplay is not being a button masher at all, that you just mash the buttons of the joystick without any kind of thought or strategic depth to it. In God of War, you need a lot of positioning in the third one and Ascension. I haven't tried the new trilogy from 2018. In that sense, on top of that, the APM, the actions per minute requirement is higher as you need better reflexes. So, if you have the strategic combat and you have a higher demand of reflexes by the game, isn't it more complex? Because you are on top of the strategic complexity and the positioning, you are adding better reflexes by the player, faster ones than in Dark Souls. Isn't it actually asking more of the player at the end of the day? I think it does, because it has a two pronged from two different fronts um, difficulty influence. I ran out. They have a mana drain. Wait, that's a mana drain. That aura is a mana drain. They drain my mana. Okay. Good. I need to use mana potions in this section. Okay. So isn't it actually more complex? Yes, because it's asking from the player both the strategy and the actions per minute. The same with the RTS genre that I love so much. You know that I love real-time strategy games. I don't stream them because I started streaming RTS games, but it was way too mechanical for most of the audience at Twitch in that sense. Besides, I like the campaigns, so yeah. Even though I did Spellforce at the beginning of this year, to once again verify that is way too much for Twitch in that sense. that genre is way too much in that sense. It's my favorite one, so I play them off stream. It's the same. The real-time strategy genre, what does it require? Or Total War games on legendary difficulty. They are all harder than Dark Souls. People, they are all harder. You can see that I don't like Dark Souls a lot. And it's not because I couldn't beat it. In that sense. It's not because I couldn't beat it. It's because I think the stamina bar is one of the worst inventions to ever affect that specific genre. Why? Because it made the combat way too slow. But that makes it difficult. No, that's a mistake. Making the combat slower does not make it more difficult. What makes it more difficult is adding a proper strategic complexity to it. Hey, by the way, I fixed the lagging issue. You know what it is, people? You will laugh at it. It's not Twitch, it's not the connection, it's not anything. It's the dust of the fans of my PC that I had to clean it. It had a bit of dust in the. I use kind of like filters, so the dust doesn't actually get into the PC, so it gets trapped in between the PC and the filter. It has kind of like a small zone in which it gets accumulated, and because of that, if it gets accumulated, and because of all of the shit that I do, teaching English and the software development and helping my parents with other things and stuff, I just don't have fucking time to do that frequently. So yeah, there I cleaned it and it's gone. Would you look at that? I think it was dust. It was just the dust. Otherwise, it's just because it has some memory leaks in some sections. Then, otherwise, there's nothing I could do. The dredge holes. Oh, here we go, people. So, basically that, I wanted to highlight that. I don't know if it happened to anyone else that you actually like. Well, if you want to defend Dark Souls, no worries about it. We can debate about it. I bet most here will defend Dark Souls by default. But pretty much, I would say that slower gameplay does not mean increasing the strategic complexity. You can have fast gameplay and high strategic complexity. They are two topics that should be dissociated when analyzing games, in my very, very humble opinion. In my quite humble opinion, um, I think those two topics should be dissociated because otherwise they create the idea in the player base that if it's not slow and if you don't have a fucking stamina bar, the game is shit. Which is the situation we're currently in. I don't know if you feel that it is like that, people, but I feel it is like that. I feel it is like that 100%. I think we are a whole player base is nowadays being educated on the basis of the idea that Dark Souls has good combat, and for example, I've heard people say that The Witcher 3 has shit combat. I heard people say that The Witcher 3 has bad combat. No, no, I have a no damage kill. I have a no damage kill of the ultra hard on hard difficulty of the secret boss of The Witcher 2, which has a quite similar combat. And you can see that it took me, well, you cannot see it because I only recorded the last try, but it took me several tries, and and you can see that the amount of actions per minute that I'm forced to do is over at YouTube. You just search in the channel no damage The Witcher or just The Witcher. It's just a 10-minute video. It's probably my shortest video ever. Um, in that sense, I also forgot to mention as well regarding the previous topic that I was talking about to flying energies in case anyone is watching this as a YouTube bot. I wanted to also mention about being discouraged regarding Twitch and everything. Um, my most edited, high quality videos were the least watched ones. Flying energies, if you're watching this as a bot. My highest quality videos, my kill of Cromorax the Invincible, and in Hellgate London the T3000, and the one I'm mentioning to you, the no damage kill in The Witcher 2, they were the least watched ones. So don't feel discouraged also because of that. Like, my best content was the least watched. In that sense, well, the best one. I also enjoy the reviews and everything that I do here, people. But the one that I edited that like took me a lot of time, Pillow! Okay, Pillow, it's been a while, Pillow. How you doing? Well, uh, long time no see. Okay, Pillow. Okay, well, uh, first of all, if it helps anything, in my response that I did, sorry if it was a bit harsh. If it was a bit harsh, I just got angry that moment that well, about the politics and everything. I presume it was because of politics that you and another person unfollowed that day, but know that I have no hard feelings, honestly. The Leaves killed Charlie Kirk. Well, I don't know what to say, Pillow. I don't want to offend this time around, Pillow. I don't want to offend. I knew that you were still watching some of the bots, but I didn't want to offend because of that. I don't want to offend. No, no, I don't want to offend. No, this time nothing about politics. I don't want to offend, bro. I just unfollowed most of the streamers. Well, anyways, I don't want to offend because don't know if you remember that you unfollowed me because I said I wasn't expecting this. Just no, I'm not a vengeful person, as I said that day. I have no hard feelings, but uh, so I only left 10. Well, I have no harsh feelings. You know what I think. You know that I'm and 7 out of the 10. I know personally. Well, Pillow, it wasn't my intention to offend that day, but you know I'm conservative, and if it's and and as I've been telling, if that is going to offend people, it's more healthy to not watch me, so I have no problem. Like, well, okay, well, okay, but well, okay. Okay, okay. Well, this is an irony of fate because most of my viewers are Polish. Now I have another three Polish viewers, so you are majority in the channel. I will have it's a Dune, right? I'll have to establish uh, a Dune parliament here of the Polish embassy. By now you are majority. Yeah. Well, in that sense, Pillow. Well, what I can tell you is that uh, you know that I'm conservative. It wasn't my intention to offend, but as I've said, I think it was because I said that I didn't like the People's Party of Europe or whatever, or I didn't like Ursula von der Leyen that day, or I think it was at that moment. I have a lot of jobs, and I don't remember specifically which is the part in which you and another person got offended, but it wasn't my intention to offend. Bro, I wasn't offended. Really, I don't like von der Leyen either. So why did you unfollow as I was saying it? Then what happened? And then I think you wrote me a lot of paragraphs over at the Sacred 2 review that you didn't like my realist philosophy or those things. Now I'm genuinely curious, people. I ain't expected. Sorry, the gameplay will stop. I need to know this. So you don't like the People's Party? Mm, then why unfollow exactly at the moment in which I was saying that? No, you didn't write that. You didn't write that, Pillow. Then why? Did it immediately unfollow you? What happened? Wasn't it you? My guy, coincidences happen. I told you. And why did you unfollow? What happened? What happened, Pilu? What happened? I need to get off the internet. Get off the internet. Okay, so you aren't the one who wrote the 5 paragraphs over at the Sacred 2 review, at least. Well, you say that. You say that, and I did for a few months. Okay, Pillow. Okay, okay. Uh huh, uh huh. You never write paragraphs. It wasn't you, but he talked about philosophy just like you, right after you unfollowed. Okay. I only went into 10 people's. It wasn't you, Pillow. Okay, okay, okay. Well, I will take your word for it. I'll take your word for it, Pillow. I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. Again, 7 of the 10 you know personally. So you unfollowed just because you wanted to eliminate all internet contact, and you weren't offended at all because of my conservative stances. At all. At all. Like nothing at all. Zero. That's what you're mentioning to me. Because you must understand it was a series of coincidences. Getting offended is cringe. Okay, I agree on that. Okay, Pillow. Okay, well, I didn't expect this. As I said, I have no harsh feelings. Well, you're telling me it was all a huge misunderstanding. Okay, 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 okay. If you weren't offended and everything that you are mentioning to me is like that, well, well, no worries. No worries. No worries at all. Okay, okay. Okay. So you didn't get offended because of the things that I said? That I said that, for example, I unfollowed you because I need to cut down internet really. Okay, all together. Like, let me tell you why. Okay. Well, yeah, please tell me because I am really confused. I thought I had offended you. Honestly, because, well, you know that I'm conservative, that I didn't like Biden, that I like Donald Trump, that I liked a lot of stuff that generally offended a lot of people in the past. And among them, I thought it was you. But well, this will. I am genuinely, deeply curious as to why. I think I was playing Spellforce at the beginning of this year. In I think it was March, I got a huge contract at work. Okay, okay. 67 people big. Okay, 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 okay. You shouldn't use erasers. Live moment news. No, no, wait a second, District. Here, Pillow is an old follower of the channel, and I having a small of a talk with him, and I am generally give me a second, District. You posted, no worries, but wait a second. I knew there was a problem. There was a pyramid scheme going on, and as part of my job, I got it. Thumbs up. No, no, no. Sorry, District, but I need to. Okay, Pillow. So you say uh, a pyramid scheme, and as part of my job, you got it. You were like a victim of the pyramid scheme. You were a victim of the pyramid scheme. In that moment, I had to work 10 hours daily just to make it even. Okay, I feel bad for that situation, as it happened here in Argentina in 2001. I can feel empathy for that, 100%. No, my job is to take the money from the scammer to the victims. Yes, because you were a bailiff. You were a bailiff, the equivalent of the Polish bailiff. Yes, I remember. I thought I told you. Yeah, you told me about that. It still does not connect with why you unfollowed immediately after I said I didn't like the People's Party of Europe. It doesn't connect. Why it was like immediately after that, at that very same moment, that
You
party
have
is
no more
like
room.
like the one I don't get. How it gonna, bro? Like why it was exactly at that moment in that sense when I was bashing the situation that if you don't know people, that basically I was in favor of Trump in before the election of the US precisely. You just happen to be in the time. I was at the right You are telling me I was at the wrong moment, at the wrong place, like coincidence. And I thought, I know people who I know better. But Pillow, people you know better. But like having follows on channels like does not really do anything negative to you. It's that simple. Okay. Well. Let's do a clean slate. Let's do a clean slate. I got the wrong idea. Okay, I got the wrong idea. Then it was a clean. Let's do a clean slate. So Pillow, I never liked People's Party of Europe. Never. Okay, but if I say Pillow, if I say that, even if you disagree, even if you disagree, never ever. Okay, even if you disagree, even if you disagree with me, which is perfectly fine. I wouldn't have any problem with you disagreeing with me. If I say that uh, I follow the school of scholasticism in philosophy because you knew about philosophy, and I say that I like analyzing the games because of the arrangement of molecules and particles. Even if you disagree, that's perfectly fine. I have no problem. I have no problem, Pillow. No problem at all. And I appreciated you a lot. But if I say that I think that the fact that my thoughts or people's thoughts do not change how the molecules of this mouse arrange themselves is objective. Does that not offend you? The only ideology that actually gets me mad is Russian militarism, kleptocracy. Okay, but if I say, for example, Pilu, if I say that because of the arrangement of molecules and particles, I believe that because my dad's cousin died in Donbass, that is perfectly understandable, and I agree with you on a lot of those things. You know it. You know it. You know that I agree. That's it. And it's personal. Okay. But regarding the philosophy of me being a realist philosopher, does not offend you. Me being a realist philosopher, medieval, like in that sense, supporting a quite similar stance to Roman Catholicism. That doesn't offend you. I need to verify that, please understand. Zero problem with realism, dude. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, if that is clear, or Roman Catholicism, perfect, perfect. and I don't mean that you cannot disagree with me. Disagree all you want. Disagree all you want in that sense. But I needed to verify that it doesn't personally offend you, because then otherwise I thought that it was unhealthy for anyone watching if the person really didn't like it. But well, uh, a series of weird coincidences. Let's do clean slate. The only thing is Russia. No, I'm not a pro-Russian, and you know it. In that sense, uh, I don't, I don't blame the population. That's the only thing. I would separate the population from the dictator. I separate the population from the dictator, but you know, I am pro UK in that sense, pro UK, pro US in that sense. If that is not, if that one, I need to ensure that it doesn't offend you if you are going to come back to the channel in that sense. Okay, I need to ensure that. Perfect, perfect. Then Pillow, and well, you say you weren't the person, so no need to say sorry then. But anyways. And it doesn't matter what I have in my heart. It only matters what I have in my ass. And I have nothing deeper up in my ass than the Russian government. Well, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I get your situation because of all of the history, because of everything that we already chatted. Well, in that sense, then I thank you for believing in the channel again. Because anyways, if all of this wasn't like this, uh, still you once again got to trust in the channel. uh, as I said, hope my realism never offends you, and well, pretty much like that, pretty much like that. So know that I appreciated you in that sense, I guess. I'm sorry for cutting down on my internet usage. No. I thought, please understand that it was like uh, exactly as I was saying it, and I knew beforehand, because of how much we had talked about philosophy, that you weren't precisely fond of everything that I said. So I associated that with the idea that, well, if someone unfollows you, as it really does not change anything in your account, well, that is
Your
that
inventory is
that is like that.
always
That it was
filled.
because of that, and I thought that, well, if it's going to offend people, it's better for them to not be here, and those things. About the prostitution that we had talked, I think it was that well, that you wanted to legalize it, and I was quite against. What's the point of debate if you don't want to get out of your own knowledge? Precisely, that's what I said. That's what I said, without a doubt. But well, since you wanted, I think it was about the prostitution, right, Pilo, that you wanted to legalize prostitution, and I was quite against it. And well, with your own opinions. No, precisely what I say every day. But well, I think it was about the legalization. It was legalization of prostitution. It was legalization of prostitution, I think. For example, that you were in favor of it because the argument was that Germany had it, that countries around Poland had it, and and Poland itself didn't have it, and well, because of me, I was quite against it, and well, and I thought that had really threatened you in that sense, and all of those things. And on top of that, then the problem with prostitution is that gangs use it. All right. That's and being a prostitute is legal. Well, because of that. So, well, glad to see that at least it didn't. It was a misunderstanding. Then play. All right. Let's. It's just clear. It's not taxed either. Either. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I remember you had your a lot of thoughts about it. You need to do something about it. Yeah, well, I think I told you that day that I would send tanks and execute all of them, and you would say, and you said that it would that
Right then.
if you would punish an illegal activity, it would just increase it, and you that's why you wanted to legalize it. You either legalize it or manage it, or you Tianmen them. Simple as that. Well, all right. Well, I think I told you I would grab directly a tank and execute all drag lords and all gangs that are doing those things. But please, anyways, To anyone watching, in general, not for you, Pillow. Everyone watching in general. Anyone watching in general. Anyone watching in general, because I've lost a lot of viewers because of my political stances, in that sense. I never, at least consider this. I am, I'm conservative, I like certain things, etc. I am against Nazism and all of that shit, including the Russian dictators, not the population that is a victim of a lot of those things, but the Russian dictators and all of those things. Uh, just know that everything that I say, be it that I'm right or wrong, this is the important thing, more than the opinion. I say it with my best intention to all of us, for all of us to have a better society. It doesn't matter if you think I'm right or wrong, if you think that I'm an idiot. That's a different topic. But I say it with my best intention. I genuinely thought that, for example, Biden had a terrible leadership for the United States, and that Trump fixed a lot of things. He made a lot of mistakes. I don't like that he doesn't get along with Europe 100%. I don't like that. But it is true that overall, if I had to score them, it's better than what Biden has done. In that sense, Trump did good. He did bad. Same with Biden. Exactly. Some good things, some bad things. Overall, the true bad one is Bush. Well, that's another story. In that sense, well, I precisely, Pelo, I didn't completely hate Bush. I think uh, he handled a quite tough situation in that sense. He handled a quite tough situation, which was the bombing that we all know that I cannot name on Twitch. I guess I don't know, but just in case I won't do it. Uh, and I think that if other presidents would have been under that pressure, I would have loved to see how they handled it in that sense. But yet, yes, it is true that it wasn't all perfect. But the important thing, regardless of anything that I say, bro, it did so poorly that 20 years later, ISIS and Taliban took it. Well, yeah, I agree that he should have done something more complete. He should have done something more complete, more complete of it. He also sent guns to Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, well, pretty much. Yeah, I think that should have been exterminated in that sense. I think I never told you precisely. Well, Payload that the reason why I'm like that terrorists that then call the pro then started. Yeah, if what you are saying is like that, then all of those were mistakes. I agree, and all of those were mistakes. I completely agree. He should have directly eliminated the threat altogether. I agree 100% with you. In that sense, 100% with you. Uh, that's why I think Trump is doing most of it quite good. Pillow, I think I never told you why, because at least I think I never got the chance to tell you why I'm like that. I think I told it on stream later why I am conservative and why I support the US so much, even if the mistakes that you are mentioning about Bush and everything and etc. Are like that. Um, my great grandpa, because like this, at least you will also have the reason. First thing, people, you're a Thomas Aquinas fan, right? Yes, Pillow, but it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. I think I never told you when we discussed about philosophy. Yes, but it's deeper than that. When I see people, when I see people supporting Palestine or whatever, or any Middle East power, or I don't know, cheering on the collapse of the Eastern Roman Empire, or whatever, and that we should all be invaded and eating the kebabs constantly, and all of, and that etc etc etc, that Europe should lose its identity. When I hear that Europe should lose its identity, I get mad, just like it happens to you with Russia, because my great grandfather, bro, Islam is well. I would have never expected to hear that from you. Fuck that. Well, okay, well, then, uh, Then on that we agree 100%. But I'll tell you why. You know, I'm Italian, Pillow. I'm Italian and Argentine. I had two Italian great grandpas, one Spaniard. Argentina is basically Spaniards plus Italians. But I had one out of my four branches that was a Syrian, right? Was Syrian. Just so you see, people. So first point is that everything that I say, at least consider that I say it with the best intention possible to create a healthy society. If you think that is terrible and etc., as I said, the unfollow button is there and whatever, but at least consider that I say it with my best intention. First of all, with my best intention from the purest intention of my heart. Second point, regarding what he's mentioning that Middle East attacks, let's say, I think Phantom told me that I cannot use that specific word, and etc. I don't know. There's a lot of words about and censorship in this sheet, courtesy of precisely Obama in that sense that started off this.